Well, viewers, this is the third day in a row of nothing but rain. It is coming down very steadily, and it has been all morning. Other birds are buzzing around. The rain doesn't seem to bother them very much. Bothers us. Can't go out. Well, we could, but we're not going out in this weather. Haven't even went to pick up the mail. But the front yard has turned into a hay field. When you got that much grass, you can't rake it. You can cut it, and it'll just clump up like a hay field. Now would be a good time to tell you a Navy story. Yeah, I'll talk a little bit about the Navy. What else is there to do? I served in the United States Navy on minesweepers. I was actually on 4 different minesweepers. Started my career out on my Navy career out on the USS Afray, A-F-F-R-A-Y. Spent a short time on the USS Limpkin, L-I-M-P-K-I-N. I wasn't there but about a month or 2. They had another damage controlman that needed me somewhere else. So they sent me to the USS Jacana, J-A-C-A-N-N-A. All those minesweepers, the coastal minesweepers are named after birds. So 2 of the ships are on coastal minesweepers and 2 of them are ocean-going minesweepers. But we spent plenty of time out in the middle of the ocean on both of them. Coastal minesweeper don't need diddly. It goes out in the ocean just as far as the rest of them do. It's just a little smaller than an MSO, ocean-going minesweeper. Trying to talk between the traffic, and I'm not having good luck at that. But one of the duties I had when I was in the Navy was running the evaporator watch in the forward engine room. I would sit down there for hours running the evaporator, creating fresh water from salt water. I don't recall all the processes, but I had it down pretty fat when I was in there. In fact, when I studied for 3rd class petty officer, I spent most of my studying for 3rd class when I was in the forward engine room watching the evaporators. I spent a lot of time in engine room watches. Engine room watches for the engineering department. You had to keep track of the engine. Somebody's always on duty watching the engine to run, checking the gauges every 15-20 minutes. Make sure everything's copacetic. It's real hot down in the forward engine room, the after engine room. Temperatures can range way over the 100 down there and stays that way. So we had a little booth we would sit in most of the time and stay cool. And, the booth would control the generators, switches and stuff for the generators, and gives you a place to get in and out of the heat. But every 15-20 minutes, I don't remember exactly, we'd be on watch, port and starboard watches. Sometimes you're on duty for 4 hours, sometimes you're on duty for 6 hours on those watches. So we had to go out and take the gauge readings in the engine room pretty regularly. And it's hot out there, like I say, it didn't take you long to break into a sweat. They kept salt pills on the stand in case you get overheated. They wanted you to take salt so you wouldn't pass out from dehydration. Anyway, I'm kind of getting off the beaten track. Any of you people that were in the Navy will remember some of these days. Looking out here at the rain brings back a memory to me that I thought I'd share with you. That's why I got started on this story. I believe it was on the USS Buchanan. In fact, I'm certain of it. We're out in the middle of the South Atlantic, somewhere in the Caribbean. The evaporators were broke down. I couldn't make any water for fresh water. I don't remember what was wrong with them now, but some of the equipment needed replacing. So we were running real low on water. When you get low on water, you got to quit taking showers and baths and limit water so you'll have plenty to drink and cook and fix your food with and stuff. We had, like a couple 1,000-gallon fresh water tanks. But when you got 80 to 100 sailors using that water, it don't take long to use up a lot of water. I say 80 to 100 because the crew size varies on Minesweepers. So you have to conserve your water. Well, we did have what you call saltwater showers. When you went in the shower, you can take a shower with salt water that's pumped straight out of the ocean. All the fire pumps that were always running, there's always water pressure on the ship. In case there's a fire, you can put it out with salt water. So the salt water system controlled the toilets, and anything that didn't need fresh water was supplied with salt water. But you could go in the shower and take a saltwater shower. It had a different nozzle with salt water. If you ever bathed in salt water, you'll find out soap will not lather in salt water. How many people didn't know that? A bar of soap won't lather in salt water worth a darn. It's just like washing with a rock. But you could, get it pretty well fairly clean, but you're all covered with salt water and you don't really feel clean. When there was enough fresh water you could take showers, they had to take what they call sea showers. A sea shower was, you could turn on the water for just a minute or so, and you got to turn it off. Like they had somebody there to control it, make sure you turned it off. They weren't going to let you stand there and take a long shower. Basically, you just stand in there and rinse off when you get a sea shower. But we were so low on water that there was no sea showers available to us. And we began to smell kind of rank. We had been out there a couple of weeks, In fact, you couldn't wash clothes in the washing machine. I've seen sailors dragging their jumper and trousers tied to a rope behind the ship, get them clean in the salt water. Anyway, we've been out there a couple of weeks. We were smelling kind of rank. And we've seen a shower. It's out in the middle of the clear blue Atlantic. You can see the shower over there about a nautical mile away. It wasn't a big shower. So we chased it down with the ship. And the funniest thing you ever seen is 70 to 80 sailors with their clothes off, standing out on the main deck. There's no other ships around, so nobody can see us. A whole ship full of naked sailors trying to get a bath real quick. You could lather up a bar of soap real good in rainstorms. I got out there and started to lather myself down. I got about half lathered up. And the storm went away. We lost contact with the rain shower. So I'm standing out there all covered with soap suds and all lathered up. I couldn't help but laugh at myself. Had to get a fire hose and rinse myself off with salt water to get all the soap off of me. So that little rain shower didn't help me a bit. I imagine I smelled a lot better though. How many of you people out there have ever took a sea shower? Basically, you get in there and get rinsed off and get out. Anyway, that was my little story to share with you today about the Navy. I did enjoy the warm weather down in the Caribbean. We spent a lot of time down there cruising around Cuba and Guantanamo Bay and going down to Panama, and all the islands up and down the coast. We went to Nassau and Jamaica and I don't know, a whole bunch of countries down there. I think I hear a siren running. So this rain ain't letting up a bit. I don't think I'll even go to the mailbox today. And I'll mention this to you. I don't know how many people know the U.S. Postal Service will tell you what mail you got coming if you register at USPS. They'll send you a picture every day of what mail is going to be in your mailbox. So you didn't have to go get it, except I know we got a bill out there in the mailbox today. But I check my email every day. They'll send me a little notice. You have 2 pieces of mail, you have 3 pieces of mail, or you have no mail today. How many people know about that service available from the USPS? Anyway, half the time our mailman can't seem to find our mailbox. He puts it in the neighbor's box most of the time. Sometimes our mail don't even show up. One of my bank statements didn't come last week. And the USPS said it was delivered. Somebody else got our bank statement. Got to thinking how much of your personal information they could steal reading your bank statement. They could figure out a lot about you. I thought I heard a siren. I know I hear it now. Before I conclude this video, we'll wait and see if he comes by here. There's 2 different streets down there, so I don't know which way he's going. Sounds like he turned the other way. Unless he stopped right there at the intersection. It could be a wreck right down there at the gas station. They have a lot of collisions down there. And I believe that's what it is. I hear another siren coming from the distance. So I'll conclude today's video. I know my viewers are probably getting tired of seeing me doing rain videos from the front porch, and maybe you'll appreciate my little Navy story today. We had got quite a turnout of hummingbirds buzzing around out there. I hope they got enough to get by. I'm not going out there and feed them today. Yeah, the siren stopped, so it's down there at the intersection. So I hope everybody has a good week, stays dry, or stays cool if it's overheating where you are. It is downright chilly here today. Let's see what the temperature is. My little on the porch thermometer says it's 66 degrees. That's a far cry from 101 that we had the other last week. Y'all take care. Keep Pwalpar saying, have a good day.